So in this session today, I want to draw the diagram for my new Kindle book called The Path to Automatic Wealth. And I'm sharing this process with you because writing a book is easier than you think. You just have to create a diagram or a geometric figure, etc. And then it's going to help you to really create the structure for your book, your course, etc. So the path to automatic wealth is basically about how people can progressively move from one phase to the next one. But you have to know where you are. I mean, at what phase you are, and what is the next step? What is the next phase, the next challenge that you have to face? Most people spend their entire lives, unfortunately, not knowing where they are, and they don't. And even if they know where they are in terms of their economic capability, they don't know what is the next level. And today, with technology, artificial intelligence, I mean, it's very, very easy to go to the next phase, but you have to know, is there a next phase, and what is it? What is it that you should be striving for? So let's take a look at the first phase, and this is what I call the physical phase, where you show up somewhere, a retail establishment, a boutique, a restaurant, hair salon, or the office, and you have to be there physically to work. Now, I understand that there's certain kinds of work that are more physical, like if you're a janitor, etc., or a nurse, then it's very physical. But there are other office jobs that are not really physical. I mean, you can just sit in front of the computer or laptop and you can just perform work with your mind, and then you generate the output through your fingers and a keyboard. But largely speaking, in this book, we're going to define physical work as work where you have to show up in person. Even if you're a consultant, or a coach, that requires a lot of education, knowledge, and experience. You still have to show up in person in order to serve the customer. Okay. The second phase, let's call it virtual, and this is where you're working, teaching, you're consulting, etc., and you do it through platforms like Zoom. So it's virtual because you're transcending space. Your clients, your customers, your students can be halfway around the world, and they can still benefit from your knowledge, your experience. And this is something I experienced by accident during the pandemic, where the college where I was teaching, I mean, you can't show up in the classroom, so we had to teach through Zoom. And there was a semester where I taught 3 courses back to back, so Monday and Tuesday, 3 courses of 3 hours each. There was one course of 4 hours, which is crazy. But I and my students were able to experience the power of virtual work. I mean, before that, we could have taught on Zoom, but the college and my teaching contract requires me to teach in person in a classroom. But what I noticed, and I think many of my students noticed, is that they can get the same value. I can deliver the same value as a teacher on Zoom. And in fact, there are many advantages on Zoom. Like, I don't have to spend an hour going to the college and an hour to go back. So I'm wasting 2 hours every time, and students can just sit at home. They use their laptop, etc. There are some disadvantages, like some students have internet problems, and they probably prefer to show up in a classroom where the environment is more conducive to learning, etc. But by and large, we all learned how to work virtually, like from home, using the power of the internet and video platforms like Zoom. So that's virtual work. So if you can go from physical to virtual work, that's great. It's not always ideal. Like, for example, your customers might want a coach or a teacher that they can see in person. But generally speaking, when you move from physical to virtual, you have a lot of advantages. Like, for example, you can serve more people in a Zoom session. For instance, I can have up to 100 and even 300 participants if I go for a certain plan. So, but in a classroom, the maximum that I could have at my college was probably 20. 25 or 30 students, it becomes a little bit crowded. So there are many advantages, especially for you, the worker, the teacher, the consultant, the coach. When you go virtual, um, you can serve more customers and you can charge more. And of course, you save time because you can work from home. So it's pretty good. So you're probably, wow, that's awesome. Like, what could be the next step from virtual? I mean, right? Virtual gives you this ability to work from home. But the problem with virtual is that you still have to show up in a Zoom session synchronously. Like, students have to show up. So you have to be synchronized. So you don't have time freedom. Like, if you have a Zoom a webinar at 2 p.m. Monday, well, you got to show at 2 p.m. Monday, right? So you're not transcending time. With the next level, which I call digital, you can actually transcend time, because you can create a video course and upload it on platforms like Teachable, and therefore your students can view your video course, stream it anytime they want, and you can be sleeping and you would still be teaching, you would still add value, and therefore you can still make money. So this is what we call passive income. I just thought about a composite model where you're delivering value, let's say by using OBS Studio, which is a free software that allows you to broadcast live on YouTube or Facebook. You can deliver that value virtually, so people can attend your live stream. They can ask you questions and you can answer in the chat box. But after your YouTube live stream is done, if it's under 12 hours, then YouTube will automatically archive it as a video. So then it becomes something digital. So this is a very interesting workflow where you start as a virtual worker and you become a digital creator, because YouTube has created a video from your live stream. And from that video, which is raw, right, because it's live, from that video you can use video editing software like Camtasia or DaVinci Resolve or other video editing software. You can use them to edit and refine and polish and add more slides, more video segments, or more voiceover music, etc., to create a professional digital product, which is a video course. But digital products also include stuff like ebooks, templates, plugins, Chrome extensions, apps, source code, software programs. So all of that goes into digital. Now, I mentioned software program, but actually we're going to leave that for the next phase, because digital here is not, it's just something like a computer file, a video file, an audio file, etc. The next phase, which is even more interesting, more powerful, and more profitable for you, is when you create software. It can be an app that people purchase and they run it on your Android or iPhone. It can be a software program, that you run on your laptop computer, Windows or iOS, etc. So if you can create a software program, then you can make a lot of money quite easily. And a lot of people will be intimidated because they don't know how to program. I mean, learning a computer language is kind of a complex task, right? But the good news is that with ChatGPT, you can quickly tell ChatGPT what you're looking for, and it is going to create the source code for you. You still have to compile the source code and test it with customers and really do a lot of packaging and marketing and selling. But by and large, if you're a software developer, if you know at least one programming language, you can use ChatGPT to quickly create software products, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm using AutoHotkey, which is a free script programming language to quickly create a lot of small software programs that people can run on their Windows computer. So I'm at this level now. I was at this level. I was able to sell digital goods online, but I didn't pursue this path because I was too busy trying to get onto this next phase. So you don't have to have made a lot of money in one phase before you move to the next phase. I mean, you if you can afford it financially, you should move to the next phase as quickly as possible. So, for example, somebody who is doing physical work here, that person can be an office worker, a secretary, and earn, like just $30,000 or $35,000 a year. You don't have to try to make like 50K or 60K in a knowledge work job, in an office before you move here. Like you can be like a very lowly secretary and try to move here where, if you have good public speaking skills, if you have good tutoring skills, you can tutor or teach someone here on Zoom, and you can serve more people. In the same way, you can be making a lot of money. You can be making a lot of money as a virtual coach, but you're always going to be restricted in terms of your time because there's only 24 hours in the day, right? And at some point, if you have like 100 virtual participants or students, it becomes hard to deliver value to them because there's just too many students, and you always have to show up at the same time that your students are showing up on Zoom. So it's kind of like a drag. You don't have freedom. You have spatial freedom. I mean, you can work from home, but I don't like it when I'm not able to work anytime that I want. So that's, and if you feel the same way, then you want to move to digital. Digital is not necessarily lower value than virtual. A lot of students might say, well, digital, I really, I can't interact with the teacher. Well, fine. If you want to interact with the teacher and you go here, you're going to pay maybe $100 for a webinar on Zoom. But if you're willing to take a video course, it might cost you like just $10. So it's up to people to choose. But for you as the value creator, you want to move from virtual to digital because then you can serve people all over the world, and you can serve them even while you're sleeping or doing your favorite activity because they just watch your video course online. And of course, if they have questions for you, they can just email you their questions and you can answer. So it can still be interactive, but it's not real time. Okay, you can still support your people, but it's not real time. And then if you're here, you're selling an ebook, you're selling a blueprint, a template, you're selling, I don't know, like a mind map or not a plugin, but a video course. You want to move here because the problem with digital products like ebooks and video courses is that after your students and customers take your video course, they still have to do the work, right? And that's, from a customer-centric philosophy, it's not good. You want to create something that does the work automatically for your customers. So even if you sell ebooks at a very good price, even if your ebooks are very good, your video course is very good, your customers unfortunately still have to implement what you've taught them in your video course or ebook, and that's a drag for them. So they're suffering, your customers are suffering. So if you want to relieve their suffering and you want to give them more value, then you go at this level where you create a software. A software is basically a computer program that will ask for information from the user, and it will perform the work that it was programmed for. Excel is a productivity software. Word is a software. But the problem with Excel and Word is that, especially Word, it's just a format editor. It just allows you to format your words and edit your words, but it doesn't really do the work. It's still software. I mean, it's still better than a digital product, and Excel also is more powerful. It has macros. It has fields that you can calculate automatically the values, etc. So Excel and Word and PowerPoint, etc. are powerful software. But here, I want to focus more on software that actually performs work for your user. So one example is my automatic business planner, ABP, and what it does is that it's going to ask users a lot of questions about their business, their products, their services, their competitive situation, etc., and then it's going to generate the perfect business plan for them. It's going to be 80% or 90% complete, and they just have to review it, maybe with their business advisor and their coach, and then they can finalize their business plan. So that's what I'm talking about when I say software. It's a software that does the work for your customers. Now, this is a pretty high level, and so you should strive to get to this level as soon as you can. It doesn't matter if you don't have a computer background or programming background, because you can learn from ChatGPT, and the best is probably to partner with a software developer so you work together. and you and your software developer partner can create together a software product. And software developers, very often they will need somebody like you who doesn't have a computer background but who's able to manage the product development, who's able to talk to customers and get feedback, etc. So, you know, even software developers on their own, they might not be able to create a software product because, you know, it's a complex thing. It's not just about programming. You have to gather the requirements from your target users. You have to get feedback. You have to interact with people. And
It's 9:05.
software developers are notoriously not very good with people. You know, and it's not that they cannot be good with people. It's just that they spend most of their time in front of a computer, so they are more comfortable coding. They're more comfortable, you know, in front of a laptop, and they work alone. But that's not the way to create a successful software solution or product, right? So if you can partner with a software developer, you're on your way to create a software product that you can sell. And the great thing about software product, which you know, when we compare it to a digital product or a virtual physical product, is that software products can you can allow prospects to download a free version which has limited functionality. For example, maybe it has only like 40 or 50% of the full functionalities of a premium product, but at least they get a chance to test it, and if they like it, they can buy the full product. So you don't have to sell the software, you just give away a free version. Same thing with your digital product here. If you have an ebook, just give away the first 4 chapters, and if they like it, they buy the whole you know, the whole information, the whole digital product.